Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today for another drop-in session. We're going to be looking at version 20, and we're just going to be recapping on sort of the latest updates that's happened around version 20, and also what features have been added to date, and that's more specifically what we're going to be looking at. So, as always, get your questions in. On the right-hand side of your screen, you should have your little questions box. Just drop them in, and we'll take a look at those at the end. So for the agenda today, we're going to be looking at SIP Call Manager, Windows Soft Phone, the admin console, departments, there's troubleshooting updates, which has been a big focus on in this update, the API updates, and as well a little bit on AI, although quite brief, but it is planned for the future, which is really nice. Of course, a roadmap, and then a Q&A at the end. So a lot of the stuff we've probably already covered before. However, as I said, it's a recap, and we're going to be looking at the features to date, and now that the update is sort of on its way to being fully released. So, in terms of the SIP Call Manager, then, so quite a few new updates around this, really aiming at the the larger customers and the contact centers. We've got a new queue strategy, which is the target busy agents. So this is essentially where an agent that's on do not disturb or is busy gets an alert about a waiting call, so they can decide whether they want to take that call or not. Yeah, so just allowing to given the option there, if there's quite a few people waiting, somebody might be in just doing some work and trying to not be distracted, but they might see a call and think, actually, I want to take that. So gives them the option there as well. Queues are now programmable, so script knowledge is going to be needed for this. However, it's a nice option to have, if your customer wants to use a third party and get some programmers in to do some scripting to allow automation or some other things that they might have a need for. We've got some improvements to the pickup and barging, so it just allows managers to really act a bit quicker. So if there's something going array with a call and the manager overhears that, they can take the call much quicker now, and they can barge in. And we've got other quality of life improvements around the SIP Call Manager, such as we don't have unnecessary event logs now showing, which is just going to block and is obviously not going to be the best when you're trying to look for other errors, and you've got all these unnecessary events and in the log. So and then of course powerful API tools such as the root point API. We're going to touch on that a little bit later, but yeah, again, quite a big focus on call centers, bigger customers, enterprise level, to give them more functionality and features and have options there. So the Windows Soft Phone, so this is running, of course, in conjunction with the web client. So it's just another option there, really. It's because it's a native soft phone, it allows for greater control. And we can see in the bottom right here, we have a little dialog box that looks, like a proper dialog box, looks really nice. And tidy, which is only really able to be done with a native soft phone. There's also now the function to be able to launch calls in your CRM with the Windows Soft Phone. So there's now a new section that's been added. It's called like the external application section, just in the settings. So you can now connect with a local CRM, or you can even add scripts as well if you wanted to add some automation there. Of course, we've looked at before, but the admin console, big changes. There's a lot of improvements around the admin console, and more just on the look of it as well. So specifically here, we've got the users tab. We can see a lot of information, and I really like on the right, we can see which users are integrated with Teams, for example, and which are set up with two-factor authentication. So just at a glance, you can see what's set up, and if needed, get those changes made. You don't have to click into each user. With this as well, so the management console has been replaced, and now the web client and the management portal have been combined. So just allowing for one console, so one URL essentially, as opposed to two, which it was before. And it also means there's just one login for the admin. As part of the admin console, there is, of course, a new feature of the departments. For more organization, and a big focus on the security measures, which you can it's allowing admins to fine-tune the user permissions. and obviously it's more friendly, more user friendly. This can also be set per user, so you can set departments per user and really give greater granularity to the control of the system. So which is really, really nice. So you can have a sales department, you can have support, and of course there's a lot of features within the departments that you can change. So you've got the holidays, you've got time zones, languages, which you can imagine if you had, let's say, a support team that worked 9 to 5, but then you had an emergency support team after hours that was 24/7. You can then choose and have control of the office hours from each department. It also gives, especially for larger customers, again, if they've got loads and loads of users, they can get a bit messy. So the departments allows for control, and it allows for departments to be set so that if you can, you can click sales department, you can see the list of the sales guys. Again, with support, you could select support and see the support guys. So from an end user's point of view, it's a lot more user friendly. As mentioned at the start, troubleshooting, there's been a big focus on troubleshooting, just allowing you guys really to be able to have greater control and just have more information to hand to be able to deal with the issues that arise with your customers sooner, and also just all in-house. So the event log's been greatly improved, so there's a lot more information here, but we can also filter these different events and things like that. As part of this, there's a new section in the main dashboard. So we've got the troubleshooting tab. So here we can see a lot of, we can export system health. So we can see system information. We can see what connections there are. You've got your support information. So if you need a load of different information on the support, so that's still available because that was previously available. You can reboot your operating system now from the dashboard, because sometimes you need to turn it on and off again, does the trick. And then as part of this as well, you've got your VoIP quality monitor, which is a really, really nice feature if you've not already seen this. So really what this is it's good when you're having issues, but you're having trouble replicating those issues, or if your users keep saying they've got this issue, but you can't seem to figure out what it is, or if the issue's even, there. So you can select the VoIP quality monitor and monitor the traffic between the calls that user has. Set this for 1, 3, 5, 7 days, and you can also do it on an active call as well. So if if your user has a call, the audio quality is not great, they can actually select it themselves. So as we can see on the left here, so you've got the callee, we've got Sam. You can right click on their name and you can just scroll down to the monitor connection quality, and it's going to generate this report on the right. So that gives us loads of information, see what's happening with the call, whose end it might be, because it might not even be that user's end, it might be the actual caller's end, and it might be an issue on their side. So again, just giving us that much more information available to easily troubleshoot things. So in terms of API, so there's an introduction, as I mentioned, of the route point API. So really this is allowing you to easily route calls, and it can capture that information, capture that number, and it can then decide what to do with that number based on the parameters that have been set. Again, knowledge that's needed in terms of coding. However, a really nice feature for enterprise level customers. So if you imagine if you've got an existing customer that's, it can detect their mobile, and it can either direct them to an account manager, or it might direct them to a different department that's for existing customers, so their issue or their inquiry is dealt with much more effectively. Whereas if the system doesn't recognize that number, it might take them to the new customer section, something like that. And the foundations for API have been laid, starting with transcription. So you can now transcript the whole call, which is really, really nice. And there's going to be much more features coming with APIs. As I imagine, there's going to be a lot of companies adopting AI, and it's going to be a real game changer in the industry. So yeah, we'll look out for some updates on that. So it's really exciting to see what's going to be happening with the AI. Just a quick one as well. Two-factor authentication, of course, been added, heavily requested feature. Very helpful when you're working on a public computer, or if you've got, maybe an unsecure computer you don't want to trust fully. You can obviously you've got your two-factor authentication there. You still got your Google and your Microsoft authenticators as well. So just quickly as well on some other, we've got new handset firmware available for your Yealink, your Fanbill, and your Snom. Includes the Fanbill directory and the router phones, of course, which is a big push on at the moment. So the router phones is is really nice to have the latest firmware on. You can do this all within, and you can upgrade the firmware all from within the 3CX admin portal. I think it's under the phone section that you just go to upgrade under the phone, and you can then choose the firmware you want to put the phone onto, which is really nice. There's a huge list as well of bug fixes and improvements and features, all available on 3CX's blog page. So go check that out if you're interested in the full list of updates. But in terms of the roadmaps of what's actually coming, so we've still got scheduled reports, so that's still due for due in update 1. We've got hot desking, again, update 1. On-premise video conferencing server, so really allowing for users to have full confidentiality when they've got when they're on a video conferencing. So instead of it being hosted, they can have that on site. Just again, more privacy and more security in mind there. Got some, we've got group SMS, we've got Teams integration improvements coming. We've got naming of DDIs for inbound calls, and we've got more APIs that are going to be coming. So configuration and client side being a few of them. These all should be fairly short term. So we'll look out for some information on that, and we'll be doing probably some drop-in sessions on more of the API stuff as well. So there's also improvements to wallboards. Now this is maybe a little bit further in the future, but there's going to be improvements to the wallboards. Again, more for your enterprise level customers. Often the wallboard is maybe not enough for them, and they need something a little bit with more information available. So it's going to be more configurable, and there's also going to be an outbound wallboard available for your customers to use. There's going to be also a new receptionist view, so just for faster handling of calls, which is going to be really nice. So we'll probably be covering those as well once they're available, but those will be a little bit further in the future. So that's kind of it for the recap. What I wanted to mention as well is there are going to be some more in-depth webinars that 3CX is going to be planning. So in the near future, so as the full release for 3CX is sort of now available, they're going to be doing some more webinars as well, which should be available soon on their blog post to sign up and get get viewing those and watching those. So but is there any questions at all? Let me just have a look here. See, there's one that's come in. So is it the final version? Yeah, essentially yes, it is. Obviously tons of updates still to come. And I think we should be expecting update 1 at the end of this month, but I don't think that's been confirmed just yet. But yeah, we are kind of at the final stage of it now. So on the notifications and the PWA ones, which are a bit flaky, yeah. So these definitely should be more reliable, as there's more. It's native integration and it's a native soft phone, so the actual notifications should be pretty consistent. It should be reliable. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to actually use it, which is really good to see. How do I make a choice between the PWA and the new Windows soft phone? That's a good question, actually. I'm actually not sure on that, but I can find out for you, Nick, and I'll come back to you. That's not an issue. There's also one here. When is the update cut? Yeah, update 1 coming. Yeah, that's hopefully at the end of the month. So hopefully by the end of the month we should have update 1 out, but it might sort of be early April. There's no confirmed date. Is the proper answer. How do you turn call monitoring on? So that can just be done. It can be done in a few ways. So you can actually, from the dashboard, you can, or just if you're a user, you can go to the top right and you can click on your own user, and if you scroll down, you'll see VoIP monitoring as an option. So you can select that. It'll ask you how many days. You can do 1, 3, or 5, or 7 actually as well, and then it'll turn it on. You can do it as we mentioned from the actual when the call is initiated. So you can then go to the call section. You can right click and you can again select it there, and then you can also go into the users page and you can again right click and then select it there. So there are a couple of ways to actually turn the call monitoring on. Let's have a look. What else we got here? I got an email from 3CX. Schedule report coming up day 1 or 2. Yeah, so my understanding of the schedule report it is due in update 1. So that's my understanding of it. Although that's interesting, you've received an email saying it's update 1 or 2. So that is a bit interesting. I mean, from my understanding, it's update 1. but it seems like that might be, unless it's getting pushed back. So I can clarify that, and we can have a bit of a catch up. But yeah, my understanding it was update 1. Is it better to use the desktop or the PWA app? I mean, that's really up to you. I think in the future, because there's still implementations that's been done on the Windows softphone app, but that really will be the one to use going forward. As I mentioned, we've got notifications, which should be a lot more reliable as well. But the actual app should be very similar to what you have already. So they're basically just duplicates of each other. That's interesting. Yeah, second person that said there's saying that schedule reporting is now maybe update 2, which is interesting because I've not heard that, but I'll have a look into that my side as well, and I'll come back to you guys just to see if we can get some confirmation. I mean, I imagine the answer might just be is update 1 or 2. I don't know if they've actually got a concrete answer yet. Might be the case. But I think that might be all the questions for now. Of course, if you do need to, or if you just want to discuss anything a little bit further or more in depth, give me a call. I'll be happy to go over it, and I'll come back to you, Nick, on how we actually change the how you choose between the soft phones, because that's a good question. I don't actually know that. I'll come back to you on that, Nick. And yeah, as I said, any questions, just give us a call. Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll catch you in the next one.